It's Friday. Flippin' Friday.
Flippin' Friday.
AZ Flip guys.
Nerding out.
Nerding out, bro. Don't even show them all my... I got the whole collection there. Oh, that's my favorite.
There you go.
That is my absolute favorite, man. I was... Bro, I flipped the lid when I found this one here. Woo, I was excited. But anyway, nerd time's over. Check out what I got. Third Notice, creative marketing by some guy named J.E. Who was sending out. He's got a business. I'm not going to say his business address. Either way, though, he was hitting us up for one of the properties that we're doing together on Weathersfield.
Driving for dollars, probably.
Either that or, maybe just the cash buyers or something along those lines.
I always keep those. Every time I get one of those, I keep them. I'll copy the good ones. I don't like those, but...
Yeah, I mean, I still like them, and I'm actually going to reach out to him to see if he's got any deals that he's looking to sell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, one of the things that I have for my team is... You see a bandit sign, you take a picture of it because you got to know who that is. Either they're going to be a buyer or they're going to be a seller. So that's...
Oh, man.
Every time I see a bandit sign, I take a picture of it. And
there used to be a time when I first started where I used to know everybody that was there. Now, I mean, it's a whole new batch of people. So
it is. It's huge, But knowing who will pay what, who will... Like those one guys that we sell all those deals to. We know if we find Maryvale...
Mm-hmm.
That's the Maryvale. That's who to call.
Mm-hmm.
Other people are gonna like other things. That Karen was talking about all her Scottsdale deals and stuff. We don't buy those for the most part.
Yeah.
So knowing who does, a lot of money.
I know somebody who does. So just
a couple people.
Send them over and let me know. All right. So are we? We are good here. Let's get started. Let's get going with where we have. So basically, we were just talking about some of our stuff, just general flip guy stuff, general business stuff. As of right now, we have a few properties that are on the market that should be closing here within the next week or so. I have a property that just closed yesterday, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That was on the header on there. And then we have a few properties that we're currently working on together. One of them is this property here on Weathersfield that they had sent out the information here, which is, like I said, this is just a marketing letter. So your wholesalers out there, excuse me.
Doesn't hurt though. Those aren't bad to send out because a lot of times a rehabber, which like me and you, a lot of times we've said yes to so many properties and we'll take them down. And if someone comes and gives us a good price, we might let them go.
Yeah. And I did that. So this last property that I mentioned a few times over the past few weeks, there was a headache property that was over here in Sunny Slope that had all this stuff. That's basically how I got it. Somebody brought it to me. I was going to. My intention was to buy it, and then if something came up and a property didn't sell, or it took longer to close, or something along those lines, so I just ended up wholesaling it to somebody else, and that's just what it was. But anyway, guys, so just wanted to give you guys an update there. We have the Weathersfield property, we have the Carroll property. Both of those are going. Both of those should be
Cavalier, yeah.
Cavalier? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Cavalier. Yeah, Carroll was the other.
That's going to be a nice one. That's one of those red bricks.
Yes.
And all the electric got taken care of, and showers are going in this weekend.
Nice.
It's going to be sweet.
Nice. The only thing that concerns me a little bit about that is in the city of Glendale, and Glendale's fucking assholes. So if you guys are...
I think we're on the right side of 43rd. I think we're Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because we're 42.
Changuitos.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Glendale's the biggest pain in my ass.
Yes, Glendale. So for any of you guys here locally that do real estate, you can attest to us. If you flip real estate, you can attest that Glendale, the city of Glendale, is one of the hardest cities to deal with here locally. It's one of these cities that has... let me get that over there. So it's one of these cities that has a... they're just stricter when it comes to the inspection, stricter when it comes to the permits, stricter with everything else. So when we're buying over in... when we're buying over in Glendale, we always have to make sure that we get it, we adjust the price for that because it is a bigger pain. Our buddy Albert here has joined us. Hey, thank you for joining us. Join us, Albert. Jeff is in the house here. Thank you for joining us there, Jeff. I believe I saw Ebony, my assistant. So make sure that you share this, Ebony, so we can get the word out. Yeah, awesome. So anyway, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about this deal that I got. That I should be getting a check for $40,000. So I just called the title company or send them an email and just said, hey, can you just have a runner come drop it off? So once you guys start doing deals, especially if you're doing a lot of deals, you get really, really busy. Title companies want to accommodate to investors like us. So a lot of times they will do those type of things where they'll have mobile notaries or runners to come and drop you off paperwork, so you don't necessarily have to go pick it up. Now, I mean, it's a $40,000 check. I mean, worst come scenario, I'll go pick it up, whatever. But they'll come drop it off. So I didn't want to talk about this deal until it closed, just for, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Albert, how's it going, buddy? Hey, Jonathan, we got our buddy Jonathan here. Jonathan, I told you about him, man. I met him over in Orlando. Mm-hmm. He flips a lot of land. He's one of Jack Bosch's all-star students and one of his coaches. And he's coaching my buddy Casey. So, hey, Jonathan, do me a favor. Get on Casey's ass, dude. I've been fucking hounding him to get a move on this stuff, and he's still fucking dragging his feet. So, get on him, bro. Thank you. Let me see. Yes. Oh, some Patriots gear. Got a Patriots fan. Oh, he must have seen the Raiders Cup, and they must have seen the San Francisco hat.
Do you still have your 81 jersey, or did you get rid of that one?
Please, he only has the new version, man. The Brady, We're just joshing you, man. But anyway, fuck the Patriots. So, what's that? Yes, please get on him. Please get on him, because I've been hounding him that he needs to get this moving. So anyway, Jonathan, thank you for joining us here. So we went to this property. Now this property comes from, if you guys have heard BP the Mentor, if you guys have heard Cashflow Kris, if you guys have heard AZ Flip Guys as a collective group, you have heard us say over and over and over again that networking is where it's at. That networking is where you get the money. That networking is where you make the money. Networking is where you grow your business. Networking is how to do it from you get started. Networking is what you do to progress. Absolutely. Networking. There's a saying that goes, your network is your net worth. And I truly believe in that. That is definitely true in our world. That has been true in my world.
And one thing, it is important to have a big network, but they say it's cliche, but it's not how many people you know.
He said he's wearing his 54. Nice. All right. Well, you got a true fan. Hey, I've been a Raiders fan, bro. I've been a Raiders fan since they were in LA. The whole time that they were good, the whole time that they sucked, the whole time that they were decent, the whole many years that they sucked after that. So always a fan. Once a fan. So anyway, guys. Oh, Jeff's saying amen. Your network is your net worth. And so this particular deal came from my network. I'm not going to mention who they are. Super nice couple that I know here locally. They're amazing. I've known them for many years, and they've been slowly but surely getting into the business. Just for some people, it's a little bit easier than others to make that transition, and I was having a conversation with somebody about that this morning. But these particular folks, they came into business. They working for somebody for a while and eventually decided that they wanted to go out and about. So last time they had brought me a deal over in the West Valley. It was on the far West Valley. It was a piece of land. Mr. John Badura's in the house. Dude, what's up? You don't ever answer your phone. Can't send me a text back. You're fucking over there doing commercial stuff. Forget about us little guys over here. Dude, you should have gone to my brother's birthday party. That was pretty fun. But my good buddy, dude, I've known John since he was a realtor back in the day. And I love to see his progression and transition. And he's actually has a few commercial properties out here. He did some developing. Remember, he was doing some developing down on the south side.
Right.
I told you that I knew somebody who did. Yeah, that was John, my buddy John over there. Was there? You swear too much on the phone. I swear too much in real life, bro. You still love me, so it's all good. So anyway, guys, I went on there and I spoke to this couple. They give me a call. They said, "Hey, we got this piece of property. We don't know what to do with it. It's just land. We really don't know what to do with it. It's in a real crappy part of town, real shitty part of town." and I was like, you know what? Let me buy it from you, and then I don't really know what I'm going to do with it either. But it was pretty cheap, so I'm like, let me give you a few grand for it, and then I'll buy it. Or you could just let me buy it at that price, and then we'll just team up, and whatever we make, we split. So we did that, and their first time they made right under a $15,000 check, which is pretty fucking awesome.
Right. That one you guys had locked up at 8. I think we sold it at 30. No, sold it at 40. And then you had your closing costs.
Yes.
Double closing costs. So.
Yes. Yeah, right about that that area.
Right around 30 grand profit.
Yep. Perfect. Which was great.
On a land deal that you didn't have to buy, you didn't have to fix, you didn't have to clean up, you didn't have to do anything. You just had to have the deal.
Exactly, and it was great, a great experience for them. So now they were hooked. Now they wanted to continue doing it. Now they were ready to move forward, and I was able to help them and coach them. And here's the great thing about this, guys: network. But when you're networking, listen to the people that know more than you. Don't just go and meet people and then you're like, all right, cool, that's a great advice, Kris. You know, I networked with Kris, I've known him, and then I did my first flip, and I called him all the time because he was already doing flips at the time that I was doing it. So I was able to ask him questions, and he was able to respond to me from his experience. I had another 2 or 3 guys that I would call and ask them every single time, and it was the network that came. So these guys came, they were having trouble finding a deal between that last one and this one here. And I sat down with them, I went to breakfast with them, and I kind of coached them up and scolded them on a few things and said, this is how you need to do it. And they locked up another one. So they brought this deal over in a really crappy part of town, which is 32nd Street and Van Buren. Very, very rough area of town.
Van Buren in anything.
Van Buren in anything is a rough area. Even though, I mean, if you go further west, is not as bad. That's one of the few areas that if you go west is not as bad than if you go east here in Phoenix.
Right. One exception.
one of the few exceptions. But so yeah, anyway, it was right there just south of Van Buren. It was a real bad area. They ended up locking it up. They found a lady that was behind in taxes or something along those lines. Honestly, I don't know, and I don't care how they got the deal. But long story short, they locked it up for $12,500.
$12,500, okay.
So what actually what it was she the seller was going to get 10 grand in her pocket, and then we were going to pay back all the liens, which they assumed was $2,500. It ended up being just slightly over $5,000, so like $5,200 or something along those lines.
So you probably, I guess, you essentially locked it up around 15 then.
Yeah, right about 15.
Okay, and then. This wasn't your typical kind of jacked up property because it wasn't even in a regular subdivision. It was kind of surrounded by a bunch of empty land that you thought maybe would be your buyer, right? But that didn't end up happening.
Well, and then the empty land, we ended up finding out that it was owned by one guy who was trying to sell it as a package. So I don't think he was, hey, Tamia, how you doing?
So that's one thing you want to do whenever you have a deal. I mean, go look at the neighbors, talk to the neighbors, see if they're interested in buying it. A lot of times they might be. In this case, that was a good strategy, but it had been on the market for a long time, so he obviously wasn't moving it.
Yes.
And you got a lot more because you weren't.
So this particular property had a house on the lot, and the reason why we got it so cheap was that the lady who owned the house, she had bought it with the intention of giving it to her daughter. Her daughter ended up getting married and ended up moving into her husband's house. So now there was nobody taking care of this property, and the property had been sitting there forever. Now, she was under the assumption that the property was somehow needed to be condemned and falling in on itself. So when I went to go look at it, I actually found out that it was made out of block instead of wood, so there wasn't any type of termite damage. There wasn't anything like that. You did definitely need to redo the roof. All the plumbing, all the electrical, all that stuff was gone. I mean, it's a bad area of town anyway, but when you have an abandoned house for that long. So we locked this thing basically for $15,000. I went there, took a drive. That's basically all I did with the property. And then I was going to stick it on the MLS, but I was like, let's just see if we can get a quick offer. We put it out there. I put it out there to a friend of mine who's a wholesaler, and I think he put it out there for like $60,000 and ended up getting a bite within it. Right. I think they actually ended up settling at a little bit less than 60, but it doesn't really matter. He got a bite. He made a few grand in a few hours worth of work. We found out who the buyer was, and we were like, oh man, we're good. It's said and done. We don't even have to worry about it. So everything went through as planned. The closing date was yesterday, and we have a check coming here tomorrow or today or whatever day it is. It doesn't really matter. But guys, this was all from networking. The guy that sold my deal did it through networking. Hell, the only reason why he got the deal was because he ran into me at a networking event. It wasn't even a real estate networking event.
You didn't call him
no.
first? Okay.
Well, so, I mean, he knew because, you know,
you got anything, that's why you got to call
exactly.
your network. What you got?
What do you have? What's in it? Right? So, who do we have over there? Oh, Felix. How you doing, buddy?
What's up,
Thank you for
Felix?
joining us. So, yeah, he was like, you know, we were talking. We ran into a networking event. He was like, hey, man, do you have anything that you have going on? And I'm like, oh, no, right now. But, you know, I may have this one coming. And if I decide to wholesale it, then I'll probably do this. And I had told him, I'm like, look, you have 2 days to give me some earnest money. If not, then it's going right on the MLS. And you know, whatever happens after that, then we'll deal with it. So he was just like, oh, yeah, cool. And he had it. I mean, he literally had that shit sold. And realistically, I know that I could have sold it for more. I mean, I could have easily took it down myself and then stuck it on the MLS for a lot more. Because even at our quick sale price, you know, we were thinking of putting it on the MLS for like 60, 65, somewhere around there. So yeah, it would ended up going right around that area anyway.
That would have been by far the cheapest property around. I mean,
by far,
not even close.
By far. And the guy who bought it from us is still gonna go ahead and sell it somewhere else.
Oh,
who's that?
Girl.
Oh, is that your wife?
Lady.
Oh,
she's finally watching. She missed like the first 10. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's always good to have your significant other support you when you're doing this type of. Because guys, we've told you before, and this is before we move to your story, but we've told you before that it's not all flowers and roses on this side either. Mm-hmm. You know, yes, I did make a $40,000 check. Yes, I'm going to cut them a $20,000 check. So my company profited $20,000. It was something that was very easy for me at this particular point of my business because I spent many years creating that network. And all those few years, you don't see very many results. And a lot of times, and this is a big shout out to your wife, Stacy. A lot of times, most spouses can't hang on to get to the finish line or to get to the point where things are moving along. You know, they can't see it. So to have a wife that supports you, man, that's freaking awesome there. But guys, this was networking. The people that brought me the deal brought it to me because I networked with them. After we separated our own ways, I always kept in touch with them. I always wanted to see how they're doing, and as they progress and getting some stuff done, then obviously they're going to bring it over my way. The guy that got the deal from me and ended up selling it was networking. I know that the person that he sold it to, he met through networking. Right. So this is just that type of business, and it's not who you know. It's not what you know, but who you know, and it's not who you know, but how you know them, and that all comes from networking, from spending that time. So that's how BP Industries is getting a check for $40,000 here with no work done on my end. Like I literally drove out there one day and took a picture.
Man, if we could do these every day, that's what I would do. I mean, those are the easiest. Those big check wholesales are just
it was cool, but they do take a while to get there. And what happens is that, you know, you'll have a newbie wholesaler come out, he'll send out some marketing, he or she will send out some marketing, they'll get a deal, they sell it, they make 20 grand, they're like, oh my god, this is easy, man, it's gonna happen every single time, and it doesn't happen. Right. Because you do have to go out there and create that system for you. But guys, what I'm trying to tell you is that I did no marketing. I put absolutely zero marketing dollars into this deal.
Nope.
No marketing on the front end, no marketing on the back end.
A little motivation, a little time with them, a little coaching.
And it was just time. It was just networking. And I did it because I like them. Yeah. I like them, so I'm grateful that they got some deals. But guys, this all came from networking. So that's how we made the $40,000 check. You were telling me a different story about you made somebody some money here recently, right?
I did. Sticking with your deal for just a second, the other thing is expectations. A lot of people, and I've actually talked to these people recently, they think a wholesale check is $2,000, $5,000 most, right? It's almost like a guilt. They don't feel like they should be able to make more money. I mean, $40,000 on a $10,000, $15,000 investment sounds crazy to most people. So I didn't think I could do that until I did it. You know what I mean? And sure, that you're going to have plenty of deals where you're only going to be able to make $2,000-$5,000. Those are still wins, no big deal. But
Mike, thank you for joining us.
Definitely. But know that that's possible. You know, a lot of those limiting beliefs, like you won't make more than that if you don't think that you can make more than that. So I helped someone make much less money, but they made money nonetheless. So I had a few deals that I was stuck on. I needed some extra cash. And so what this guy did is he had a couple free and clear condos. He borrowed, he leveraged those. I paid his mortgage, his interest payments, and then I paid him an interest rate as well. So for lending me the money, it wasn't even his money, it's the bank's money. Yeah. So he borrowed money from the bank, gave it to me. I paid his bank back, and then he made money off of it. So completely, that's a...
So how much money did he make?
$3,000.
And you said the perfect things. Doesn't matter how much money he made an infinite return. Now, the people that I'm going to be cutting a $20,000 check to here on Monday, they put in the work for the $20,000. You know, they did some marketing, they did some follow-up. They were driving around. I know that the seller was an old lady, and they literally had her on the fucking phone, like, explaining to her how to do a DocuSign because she was too, didn't want people coming in and out of the house and couldn't really mobilize that much. So
they were grinding for months, probably.
Oh, they were grinding for months, but that's the thing. Excuse me. The thing about it is that that was a return on investment. What your friend did here, which is leverage his money that he had, which wasn't even his money, it was the bank's money that he borrowed. You made sure that that guy paid back plus his interest and everything else. He's now made an infinite return. I mean, you can't even calculate that cash on cash return because there wasn't any cash. Or, I mean, what time, maybe the half an hour to an hour it took to make that phone call.
Yeah, I made a phone call for him. Actually, it wasn't even a phone call, it was a text. It was, hey, this guy wants to finance us in.
Oh, nice.
He's taking us for our content.
Nice.
Yes. You're welcome, man. We hope you guys are getting a lot out of this. We want people to learn. We want people to make money off this.
Yes, and, we're always open to give people opportunities. So, in this situation, the people that brought me the thing, first of all, on the first deal, they would have been happy taking $5,000. They would have been happy making $4,000. They didn't even know what was going on, right? I didn't know what was going on. I didn't think we were going to be able to sell it.
You could have sold it, made $8,000, and then they only made $4,000 instead of the $5,000 you promised them up front.
Yes. Well, not only that,
that risk though.
Yeah, they took the risk, and they ended up making $15,000.
Yep.
And they did that because, as we always say, partner up with the pros. They partnered up with somebody that knew what that was doing. So then when we came to this deal, same thing. I bought the property. I mean, I could have easily done a double close or something like, whatever, we only made this amount. And this is 100% honest, dude. This is 100% honest. I am a lot more excited to be able to cut them a $20,000 check than the fact that I'm making a $20,000 check.
Think about it, man.
Like, that is fucking awesome.
2 deals in a couple months,
yes.
$35,000.
Yes. We're in April.
I mean, $35,000, what is your average $15, $17 an hour worker make? That's what they make or less.
Right?
That's amazing just by going out, doing the extra work, and finding a deal. It's that simple. It's amazing.
And that's the thing, guys. I made this couple here, or I helped them make $35,000 in 4 months. So it's been about 4 months, from the beginning of the year to get all this thing going, and this is amazing feeling to be able to cut them that check because they really did work hard for it. Right. But that's what we're trying to tell you guys here. We provide the content to be able to put it out there to you. So if anybody has a question about anything, please feel free. I know we're talking about these 2 deals here, and we're going to be talking about some other stuff. But if you have any question in particular, please feel free to put it on there, right, and we'll answer them specifically. Any questions about, any questions about fixing and flipping, wholesaling, anything with money or anything along those lines, please feel free to ask us, and we'll answer those questions.
So to further go on with your first deal, your Avondale land, you keep track of and keep in touch with your buyers. I mean, that guy was a buyer, a land buyer. There's not too many of those out there, you know.
Right.
That's all he was looking for. So then I threw my realtor hat on, and like I did a search to myself of what he wanted, Avondale land for cheap, and one popped up. We sold him like $115,000 worth of land.
Nice.
We didn't make it much because we were realtors on it,
Of course.
or I was a realtor on it, so I made like $3,000 or so. But I mean, that's I'll take that all day.
Right.
If we would have found the deal and locked it up and then flipped it to him, we could have made more. But I mean, whatever. I'm not going to complain about $3,000.
And that's what I'm saying. That's a crazy return on your investment. So it looks like we have a question over here from Greg Jackson. Hey guys, what's your favorite lead generation tool? So I've just said it, and I've said it. I'll say it again. My favorite lead generation tool is networking, networking.
Yes, that's number one, number two, number three.
Yes.
But I know they're going to want more. So in our market, man, we're in a pretty tight market, and so we're getting aggressive. So this is what we're going to do. We found the neighborhoods that we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have probably 2,000 or 3,000 homes within those neighborhoods, and we're just going to bombard them. We're going to send them. We're going to pull the numbers. My agents are all going to call them. Hey, this is, you know, whoever with XYZ Realty. We're looking to buy a house. Would you be interested in a cash offer? Mm-hmm. So you call first of all and touch everybody with that, and that's free for me because if they turn it into a deal, that's when they're going to get paid. You know, so they're doing this as a salesperson. Secondly, they're going to door knock and flyer the neighborhood. Well, I guess door knock would be the second one. Thirdly, we're going to flyer the neighborhood, and then we're going to every day deliver them. So they're going to get a postcard, they're going to get a flyer, they're going to get a phone call, and they're going to get a door knock in specific neighborhoods. And we're just going to bombard the hell out of these neighborhoods, and we'll get deals out of it. I know we will.
Nice.
It's a lot of effort, though. That's a lot of work.
A lot of effort.
You know?
So, Greg, to answer your question directly, my favorite type is networking. Chris said that his favorite type is networking.
Absolutely, yeah.
Outside of networking, though, door knocking has worked well. Now, I'm at the point where I'm not door knocking myself, but I have aligned myself with a wholesaler that door knocks. So he's got a team of door knockers. I've actually helped started previously in a different business a team of door knockers because I believe, and me personally, I started off as a door knocker. So I truly, truly believe that door knocking is the great way to get there. Outside of that, you know, you can have your letters like these ones that were sent. People always send different types of mails or anything along these lines. You do have bandit signs. You do have different ways of getting to your clients. But to be quite honest with you and my experience, a direct approach, it does take a little bit more work. It takes a little bit more effort, but it does have the best thing. And once again, Greg, I don't know if you're in the Phoenix market or not. But if you are not in the Phoenix market, then it may be different. Here in the Phoenix market, you know, things like this we get a lot of all the time. So it's kind of saturated and it's kind of competitive here, and that's why we have to go the extra steps like you were talking about.
Oh, it's crazy. If you did that in a regular market, I mean, you would get every deal. Think about you're talking about the land info, right?
Cool.
You have rehabbers. Like the one guy we know sending out 2,500 pieces or whatever, 25,000 pieces, whatever it is. It's a lot. And he's like, well, can I do this with the land? They're like, no, you'll have so many calls you won't know what to do with. So if you're not getting deals, maybe change your market, maybe change your strategy. If you're looking for lots and everybody else is looking for single families, that's one thing.
And that's one thing that I did, you know, with my business personally, when everybody was looking to go high end, make them baddest, nicest, whatever. I always decided to go 200,000 and below, kind of lower middle class type areas, and just churn them and burn them because I knew that they were going to work. So even though my properties are nice and even though my guys do nice work, I wasn't trying to make the most nicest, most custom thing.
So he just said that he's in Boston, so prices are crazy. I believe you. I mean, one thing that you might want to do is partner up. I don't know if you do rehabs or whatever, but partner up with a rehabber or a really good GM or a GC, because those are old homes. You're going to run across that I imagine have a ton of work. all the old wiring, all the old problems that 17, 1800s properties have. In Phoenix, we only have, most of our properties were built 1950s or newer. So we don't have 100, 200-year-old homes. So go look for the worst of the worst, and that's where you're probably going to be able to find your biggest ones.
Cool. So thank you for your questions there, Greg. I will once again add right back to it. You want to focus on networking. Networking. Go to your local REIA events. Network with anytime that you see anybody rehabbing any property, stop. Even if it's just a contractor, talk with him or her and see who they work for, see where they're associated. Hey man, I'm an investor. I'm looking to start flipping houses. Hey, let me get your card. Let me get your info. Call them, talk to them later. Hey man, who's giving you work? Where are you seeing stuff coming? Everybody. You don't know any angle that's coming. So Greg, thank you for asking those questions. We did have other questions from a few other people that I want to get to. So we had Jeff answered here first. I asked questions. I need a door knocker service. Inbox me info to leave at the door.
That's gonna be a challenge. You're gonna have to work to get that. I mean, finding good door knockers and keeping good door knockers are two different things, right? You got to be pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell what it takes to be a door knocker?
Woo! Okay. Hey, thank you, Wendy. Thank you for joining us, Jeff. So to be a door knocker. Takes a lot of balls. There's no other way of saying it.
You need a lot of no's.
You need a lot. Yeah, you need a lot of. You need a lot of go fuck yourselves. You need a lot of. You're a scammer. What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. I'm not behind. You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Let me get my gun. I'm tired of you motherfuckers. You're the 100th one on my door. You're going to get a lot of that. So you need a really, really thick skin to do it. Because of that, nobody wants to door knock. I mean, I'm assuming you want me to send you a phone number for somebody who's going to door knock for you. Good luck with that. That's not going to happen. What I did do is I networked and I associated myself with wholesalers that I know either door knock themselves or have a door knocking team. So because I understand that the direct approach is the best approach. So there is no service for that, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff. There's no service for that, Jeff. But I would highly suggest that you start networking with individuals. Now, one of the great things you can do is you can create your own door knocking teams. Understand, though, that you're going to have a high turnaround rate. High. I mean, everybody says they want to be in real estate until they have to do work. Well, there is no tougher, grimier work in real estate than knocking doors.
No.
Like that.
A lot of times they'll make money. They'll make like quick $5,000 and they'll still quit. It'll work.
Yeah.
What they wanted will be accomplished and they'll still quit because it's a pain in the ass door knocking.
Lee, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
So I would highly recommend that you look at that in regards to either starting your own door knocking team or partnering up with somebody who currently does door knocking. And once again, you can ask them when you're talking to your local wholesalers, you can say, hey, how is it that you get your deals? You don't need to give me specifics, but what are you sending out mailers? What type of leads are you doing? Whatever. And then we go from there. So he said a few things. Let me see.
He wants us to, we'll contact you afterwards. We'll see what's up. See if we can help you.
Yes. And then with that being said, we are always looking for door knockers. Yes. So if you guys are just getting started and you want to get into the business and you don't have any money to pay for mentorship, you don't have any money to be putting out marketing, you just have a car and some time, a little bit of gas money for yourself, then that's basically all that needs. So anyway, guys, putting it out there, if you guys want to get into the business, door knocking is my favorite way.
Yep.
Probably there. So, did we have some other questions?
Yeah. Alberto wanted to know if we like bandit signs.
Oh, bandit signs. Yeah.
He's kind of biased.
Mr. Corey Smith, thank you for joining us. So, bandit signs are cool, man. Here's what I'm going to tell you about bandit signs, and I owned a bandit sign company. That's why he says that I'm biased. I actually just started the LLC, Phoenix Bandit Signs LLC, which was a pain in the ass because some guys from Texas who own banditsigns.com, they fucking trademarked the name bandit sign as a national trademark. But we had to go and prove to the court that it was like just such a too broad of a name for us to even to do that.
You had to do that?
No, fuck no. My accountant did that. I don't do any.
No. But I mean,
well,
they were representing you personally against them.
No.
It was like a big group of people saying.
No, so none of that. We went to go start up our LLC, and it came up that it was going to be a conflict. So my accountant had to go back with the board or wherever they had to go to like prove to them, look, Bandit Signs is just a generic term.
Right.
So anyway, but we started Phoenix Bandit Signs. I've had that company going since 2009. We did Bandit Sign marketing. I've used Bandit Sign marketing for myself. I've used it for real estate. I've used it for other stuff. And here's what I will tell you about Bandit Signs. Bandit Signs work, but they're different.
They are different.
They're hugely different.
You want to have a separate number that comes from your Bandit Signs than any other marketing.
Yes.
Like you want to know that call's coming from a Bandit Sign.
The level of desperation that somebody calls you off a Bandit Sign is completely different than the level of desperation that somebody will call you from a different scenario. Hey, Randy, thank you for joining us. Let me know whatever happened with that fucking Maryville deal, man. I got some money that freed up that I need to buy another property. So anyway, Bandit Sign deals are, and dude, that's how I met Randy here. He actually had hired me to put out Bandit Signs for him back in the day. So Bandit Sign deals, they're a lot more motivated. Right. However, they're a lot more sporadic.
They're a lot more crazy.
Yes.
As well.
Well, they're crazy situations. By the time that somebody calls you on a Bandit Sign, they've exhausted every fucking thing that they could do. The crazy boxer story that I told, that originally came from a Bandit Sign, but it wasn't my Bandit Sign. It was somebody else's Bandit Sign, and he didn't know what the fuck to do with it. But the only reason why that seller called him initially was because he had already tried selling it. So when I was dealing with this family and we had all these crazy situations, they were like, the family was to me, you're not going to buy it. Like, you're the 10th person already who's going to try to buy this house. Right. You know, they don't know. That's the only reason why they called us off a Bandit Sign. Now, guys, and this is me being the devil's advocate on the other side, Bandit Signs are sporadic. If you put out 50 Bandit Signs and you get one phone call, that doesn't mean that you put out 100 Bandit Signs and get 2 phone calls. It does. There's no rhyme or reason. When I first started this company, I was keeping track of signs, areas, amounts, everything, days. Didn't fucking matter, man. Sometimes we would put out 100 on a weekend, on a Friday, get no fucking phone calls. Sometimes put 100 out next weekend, same fucking area, right. Blow up your phone like fucking crazy. Sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. Whatever. But the ones that did come though. And the ones that were actual deals, the ones that actually were people looking to sell their house, it was almost a guaranteed deal because they were that desperate if you know how to handle those type of situations. So if you're going to be putting out Bandit Signs, either make sure that you personally know how to handle a sticky situation, that you are connected with somebody that knows how to handle a sticky situation, or that you're prepared to understand that that's what's going to happen with Bandit Signs.
Right.
So I would highly suggest that you do that now. On the other side of it, though, on the positive side, on the pro Bandit Sign, I will tell you that if you continue putting Bandit Signs on a regular basis and just consistently do it week after week after week, it's eventually your phone's going to ring.
That's what I was going to say, man. Consistency is the key with Bandit Signs. Like,
but
if you're going to do
with any marketing, though.
True. I think Bandit Signs maybe more than any. You know, like if you say, "Hey, I'm going to do 1,000 Bandit Signs," don't do them in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Do them in like 10 weeks.
Yes.
A little bit, a steady stream. Some will stay, some will go,
and that's the thing that I used to tell my Bandit Sign clients is if you put 100 out this week and we go out 100 this next week, I would say 75% of your signs from last week are probably gone. But now you have 125 signs out there as opposed to 100 signs, and continue to grow as you were to progress.
Would you suggest that they pick them up on Sunday night? Say they go out Friday night?
No.
I know a lot of people.
So officially, yes. Unofficially, fuck that. You could do that, especially I would suggest you do that in areas that are more strict about it, right. Because most of the time they'll be out there on Mondays to pick them up. So just to avoid issues, if you're just in your general areas, then I wouldn't suggest it because you never know how long a sign is going to stay up.
In my experience, Phoenix isn't bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chandler's bad, Gilbert's bad, Mesa's not bad.
So basically, this is a general rule of thumb. The nicer the nicer the area is, the faster your bandit signs are going to come down, and the higher the probability that somebody's going to fuck with you. Somebody's going to call, complain, harass. You need to do this, you need to do that. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, whatever. So when you're dealing with bandit signs, you have to make sure that you're 100% aware of that.
Yeah.
A general rule of thumb, though, the not nicer they are, the less they give a shit. The less they care, the longer your signs will go out there. Obviously, everybody wants properties or nice areas, but if you can shift your mindset and understand that especially if you're doing bandit signs, those areas or more rural areas, like back where you grew up over in Levine,
right?
Yeah,
those are always up there. They never.
Levine was my hot spot for, bro. When I had somebody that was like, hey, I put out bandit signs for the last 2-3 weeks and I haven't really got any phone calls. I really need this one to work. Man, I would be like, I got the perfect spot for you. So you'd go down to Levine, and those were it. Now it's a little bit different because it's kind of started filling in with more houses and more shopping centers. But before, man, it was just fucking land upon land. So anyway, those are a little bit easier. We have another question.
One last point on bandit signs. I do suggest getting a separate number because you may have code enforcement following you, so you don't want them to know who you are. A Google Voice number is good for that.
Pam, thank you for joining us.
And then just know that, you're going to get some crazies and you're going to get randoms. So you might want to throw it on a voicemail.
Yes.
Like, I always get people trying to see if I can buy their car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get weird stuff. You get to say, hey, are you renting? Do you have a house for sale?
Yeah.
Or stuff like that.
They probably just have it written down somewhere. They don't know what it's about. So you're going to get crazy calls. But you can definitely make money.
And you know what I would suggest here before I forget, because like I said, I've been doing bandit signs for many, many years. Bandit Sign 101, look that up on YouTube. So go to YouTube, type in Bandit Signs 101, and I have a whole little instructional video, basically how I talk about avoiding the police and what is known as the sign police. So it's just specifically about bandit signs, just to kind of help you stay safe and protect you out there if you're doing bandit signs. But aside of that, that's my experience, that's my bias when it comes to that. We have somebody else who asked.
He's out. He was just saying he's out.
Oh, Mike, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you once again for commenting on our stuff and letting us know. So we have, let me see what time is it. All right, cool. I'm going to say one more thing here and then we can start closing out unless we have another question. So we talked about your friend who made money.
Yes.
Right, so your friend made $3,000. Who is that? Mr. Johnny Williams, man. Hey, thank you for joining us here. I actually was hanging out with Johnny here on for Easter Sunday. This motherfucker just bought a new smoker, a Traeger. And he bought this big old piece of prime rib, bro. Nice. Like this huge piece of prime rib. Had it smoking for a few hours. Oh, Johnny, that was mwah. Muy delicioso. That was fucking excellent, bro. Excellent. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? So here, Johnny is. I'll tell you about Johnny a little bit later. But super good guy, super good friend. We did some stuff with him with some of the nonprofit stuff. So great guy. I want to talk about your friend, though. Your friend made $3,000. We talked about how that is a return of an infinite amount because he didn't have to put any money of his own pocket to use this. So how long did it take him to make the $3,000?
A while. He's helping me out with my problem properties,
which is fine.
Glendale. This one was a Glendale one, and they made us do everything twice. Anyways, I think he had it around 6 months.
Okay, cool.
So it cost me a lot of interest because I had to pay his guy plus him, but it was double-digit return.
So that's what you that's what you do. That's the risk that you take as an investor. Hold on, let me see, Johnny. Oh yes, always, man. Hey, Johnny, let me know when we're heading up to the fucking ranch, bro. He's got a ranch out there. So yeah, let me know when we're going out to the ranch. I'm down. I'm game for a weekend. I'm actually going to be going up north for the weekend this weekend. But yeah, let me know. Oh, mother effer. All right, so we're good. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make: 6 months, no money out of his pocket, made $3K.
Right.
Right.
So he did it twice. $7K.
Yes.
Or 6 or 7.
6.
It was more. It was like a little more. So
okay, well, whatever.
$6,000.
We'll just call it $6,000 just to make it simple, right?
Right.
Now, if he were to break it down even more, he'd have made like $500 a month, basically, right?
There you go.
For not using any of his money.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. Not using, what was that? Oh yeah, we'll do. Please let me know, man. So not using any of his money. He didn't use absolutely any of his money. What if he would have done this 3, 4, 5 different properties?
Right.
That he would have took a little bit. Now
he has.
Yeah.
We have 2 other properties that he's in on, or no, 3 more.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got one that's going on the market. We got one that's probably a month out, and then we got one that's probably like 3 months out. So he's going to be getting checks continually. So
let's just say that he continues doing this, right? He's now he gets 6 per year on one. So one house that he owns that he leverages, he can make $6,000 off of that, right?
Yeah.
And now he's got a few that he's leveraging, so he's going to make $6,000. So let's say that is, let's just make numbers easy. Let's say that he does that five properties. So 5 properties of his, which are 10 deals of yours that happen. He'll be making about $30,000 a year without doing anything on his own.
Right.
That's what people make that
and
go
if
to
I
work.
can turn him faster, he's going to make even more.
Of course. Now I'm 3K is not anything to be like, whoa, I'm freaking rich, right? So and
who you are.
Huh?
I remember a point in my life when 3,000 changed my life.
Of course. And I'm saying that for most investors.
Yeah.
3K, hey, I'm putting up this in 3K, like, oh man, I'm not gonna. That's not a lot. But the amount of returns that he's getting are freaking crazy.
Uh-huh.
So he's not he's not making a lot of money per se, but he's making a large percentage return on his money. Second of all, if he does this twice a year, now that percentage is rise. That annual percentage rises that much higher.
Right.
And third of all, he can leverage that to make $30,000+ a year from just leveraging shit. That people go to work for that. People get up.
People work 2,000 hours a year for that.
Yeah.
Full time, 40 hours.
It's crazy, and he's able to do that, and that's the point that I wanted to bring up here before we run out of battery and before we're done here with our time anyway. But I was having a conversation with somebody this morning. We went out to breakfast. He's invested some money with me. He currently separated from his corporate job, and he's like, man, I did some of the stuff you told me. I let you some money. He's the one who let me borrow money for 39th.
Okay.
So he's like, I now realize that I'm connected with all these people through my network, through my family, through my friends, through my old work that have access to money. How can I?
And none of them know how to make money on their money. They just blindly trust what their job says.
So he told me that during the Final Four, and I told you this before we got on camera, but during the Final Four, he was hanging out with his cousin. His cousin played football for one of the major universities. Now, his cousin never made it to the NFL, but some of his friends did, and some of them even won Super Bowl. So they're hanging out with one of the guys that won the Super Bowl. They're hanging out with a few of his friends. They're all hanging out at this booth, or this suite or whatever, and they're talking, and every single one is talking about how they invest their money. Now, my friend said, hey, this is how I invest my money, and everybody was interested all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Professional players that own franchises still want to invest in real estate. And this is where you guys can partner in with the pros. So I said, hey, look, I already have everything. I have the track record. I have everything that we need. I can help you make money with somebody else's money, which is what you did with your friend.
Yep.
Which is what we've done with our previous friends, Darius and Carmen, who are now going to be. They actually just left yesterday to Amsterdam, and are going to be traveling Europe for about 2 weeks or a week and a half or whatever it is that they're doing. I was supposed to meet them over there. But either way, I'm going to Costa Rica and Panama, so I ain't complaining. But they did it without using their own money. The people that have lent me borrow money, the first person that I did a real estate deal with and a few other people have lent me borrow money that's been their family members or somebody else's money instead of their own personal money. So if you have access to money, if you have access to people with money, you don't have to close them. You don't have to talk numbers with them. We can talk to us. Like I said, I personally, BP Industries on my end has a credibility sheet and an investor package that we send out to all of our potential investors, basically breaking down what they're currently making in the bank versus what they could be making with us, all of the properties that we did and everything else that we do. A big shout out to my buddy Corey Peterson for allowing me to use the one that he has, which is fucking awesome, by the way.
Yep.
But guys, This is what I'm trying to tell you. You can make money without using your money. You can make money without having much. You can go out there and you can do the door knocking. You can do the networking. Networking doesn't cost money, or most of the time.
Very little money. Very little money. Maybe a couple bucks.
Very little if you're paying for your food, your gas. If you have to pay to be part of the networking event or whatever it is that you're networking. Right. And I found that a lot of my best networking doesn't come from networking events per se. It comes from other events. So like personal development events or sales training or other thing, and then I meet other individuals that are there, and then I go, oh shit, you're in real estate too? Oh, right, this is freaking awesome. Or you're not in real estate, but you have money? Oh, awesome. So guys, that's what we're trying to tell you here at the AZ Flip Guys. Partner up with the pros. Kris talked about how his friend made $3,000. At the end of the day, it costs you more interest-wise, but who cares? You still got the deal done. He made money. That's all that matters.
Yeah, he made money bringing money. Your people brought money bringing a deal. They made money bringing a deal. Yep. So there's multiple ways to make money in this business.
Exactly, and that's what we're trying to tell you guys. But all that came from networking. His guy's money came from networking. My people's property came from networking. The guy who sold my property sold it through networking. The guy that's bringing me the money that I've talked about, just right recently that we met this morning, it's all through networking. His personal network, his extended network, putting it out there, getting this going, and letting people know how they can benefit by doing business with us. So, guys, this is the Friday edition of Flipping Friday. That is Cashflow Kris, BP the Mentor. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you for everybody that has shared this. Thank you for everybody that has commented and or asked questions. We will be back here next Friday. Am I still going to be in town? Yes, I'll still be in town by next Friday. So we'll be here next Friday doing it. And then while I'm gone, either you can do it yourself or I can, depending on my Wi-Fi signal, do one over in Panama or Costa Rica.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, we'll message back and forth, and I'll still be here next week. So anyway, guys, join us 12 noon Arizona time. Remember, guys, flip for wealth, hold for cash. Talk to you guys later.
You messed it up, man.
Oh, yes, I did fuck it up.
Flip for cash.
Hold for wealth. Flip for cash. Hold for wealth. Flip for cash. Hold for wealth.